Hey all, it's Gutterball. You know, it's winter in Minnesota, so it's a little chilly outside, so not a lot of motorcycle stuff going on right now. I've got some audio projects, but I'm not going to do a lot of filming in the garage because, I don't need the icicles falling off my nose. So I figured I'd do a brief video on another topic that is kind of near and dear to my heart, and it's probably there's some demand for it. That's for career planning, especially for I'll probably do a couple of series on these. One for different types of careers in the military, two for different avenues of approach. Whether you're in high school looking to enlist, if you're looking to go to college first, possibly go for an officer's program, if you're interested in various different career fields. And some of it, you'll just have to give me questions because I've worked with a lot of recruiters over the years. I spent 20 years active duty, and I was naval aviation. I'll start out with kind of the most basic topic. Your average high school kid. I don't think I'll get a lot of high schoolers watching my videos. I'm kind of an old fart at this point. But, for their parents, I might get a parent or two watching and has questions, trying to advise their kid as to a direction to go. Do I advise the military's for everybody? Probably not. It was great for me. I mean, the benefits, the lessons, the career training, everything it did for me, I really can't say anything bad. I mean, it was phenomenal. The reality though is it's not all fun and games. You join the military as a volunteer force for a reason, and that's you're volunteering to serve your country. Now, nobody works for free, so yeah, you get paid, you got benefits, there's advantages to doing it. So what are those, and kind of what do you want to think about when you're making those decisions? First off, are your goals? Do you have a goal? Do you have a career goal? Do you have something in mind, or you just have no clue? It's actually really great for a kid coming out of high school with no effing clue what they want to do in their life. Why go jump into a community college or go be a barista or whatever? That's not going to lead you very far in life and not going to give you a lot of direction. If you don't have a plan and you don't have a field of interest and you don't know what the heck you want to do with your life. So, one of the benefits, and you can talk about a couple of different aspects, reservist, guard, just straight active duty. I was straight active duty, but I managed a lot of reservists at the end of my career, so I got to know that world as well. And I've had friends in the guard, so got to know that world as well. So if you have no effing clue what you want to do, think about branch of service at the minimum. You got the Army. I was Navy, Marine Corps, Air Force. Now you got the Space Force. And even though the Coast Guard is technically not DOD, it's treated very much on the same realm. And so you got the Coast Guard in there as well. Think about where, if this is just like, hey, I'm going to go jump in for 4 years, get my GI Bill, get out, go to college, maybe I'll figure out what the heck I want to do with life, afterwards, during that time, before, you say you're jumping in at 17, 18, you're 4 years older, you're more mature, maybe some money in your pocket, some benefits go along with that, and hopefully a direction where you want to go in life. So, it's a great way to, one, serve your country, do something for society, earn some money along the way, earn some benefits, and build some skills and maturity and direction. You'll be exposed to, regardless of branch of service, you'll be exposed to a lot of different career fields, a lot of different, skills, and have the opportunity to learn some along the way and that may be where you want to go in life. That may be give you the direction you want. You may decide to make a career out of it. You may not. That's all on you. There's a lot of, but go into it with an open mind. So for somebody who has no effing clue what they want to do, pick a branch. Kind of suits your personality. If you are just super gung-ho athlete, Army or Marine Corps, they're the most physical, the most athletic. If you're a little more technical, you're more of a thinker, more of a scientific, you like technical things. Air Force, Space Force, Navy, there's a lot more technical fields there than just pure grunt. You're going to PT every morning at 5 a.m. and run for miles and lift and just get into great shape. The Army, Marine Corps are great for that. But I mean, they have technical fields as well. Every branch does. So look at it from that perspective of what kind of fits your personality and lifestyle goals. And then just go for it. I mean, you've got, especially for somebody, I get a lot of kids that, that are afraid, like, oh, it's scary, boot camp's going to be hard, they're going to yell at me. Fuck yeah, they're going to yell at you. It's the military. You got to have thick skin. That's one of the benefits of it. Is it takes you and kind of roughens you up a little bit and allows you to deal with the harshness of life. So it gives you challenges to overcome, and it just teaches you how to be, a self-sufficient human being. So give it a whirl. One of the benefits, just from like a 4-year enlistment, GI Bill for college afterwards, phenomenal. That's one of probably the leading benefit that a lot of people join for. You do your 4 years, you've served your country, you learned a little bit along the way, and you can get out and you can go to university, get your bachelor's degree for free. And they pay you a housing allowance along the way. So they'll give you book money, pay for your tuition, pay for your lodging, housing, and if you do it right, you can leave the military with some money in your pocket. So part of that's planning. And you see kids that they jump in there, they're 18, they're making a paycheck for the first time. Every shark and snake is offering them credit, and they want to go out and buy a hot new set of wheels, put some rims on there, a killer stereo system, all that stuff, because they got some money in their pocket. It's the exact wrong way to go. The best way to do it is pack as much of that into your savings account as possible. Because you don't, if you literally went in with the plan of just doing 4 years, getting out and going to school, you're going to need that dough. You're not going to want the debt. There's plenty of time in life for debt, and useless crap when you're 18 and a new set of wheels is not the kind of debt you want to carry around with you if you plan on going to school afterwards. So keep it light. Don't spend. Most as an enlisted person, your housing paid for, your food's paid for. If you're living on base, you got a chow hall. Spend as little as possible. Put that money in the bank, and use it to further your goals. Just suck it all in, all the education, all the training, discipline, and go for it. Then when you're done at 4 years, you can get out and go to school and start your life. Same way with the Guard. If you're not quite ready to leave the home front, you don't want to move away from your home state, maybe your parents or family still kind of need some support. So they want to, you want to stay close. The individual Army Guards and Air Guards within your state generally offer really good education benefits. So if you kind of have a direction of where you want to go to school, and you want to stay close to home, the Guard's a great way. I've got a couple of family members that have gone through the Guard and paid for their university, come out debt free from school, and it's led to tremendous careers for them outside of the Guard, but that training and the skills they learned along the way, plus the free education, was a great jumping off point to get there. It's don't be afraid. I had a relative, a nephew who was kind of afraid of boot camp and the idea of getting yelled at, and but he'd been an athlete. He played hockey, and I'm like, if you can put out what a hockey coach or a football coach or any coach, if you played sports, you've been yelled at, you've been run, you've been pushed, you've left practice hurting, you've learned that discipline. If you can do that, you can go to boot camp. Come out the other end. It's not that hard. You just wake up in the morning, do what you're told. They're gonna yell at you, and then you do what you're told again. And you just keep on going and keep your head down, pushing forward, and you'll come out the other end. And you'll come out the other end a better person, and with those benefits of lessons learned, maturity and whatnot. So don't be afraid to do it. If you got questions, ask me, put them in the chat. You can send me a message. But it is a really good deal, especially for somebody who just doesn't have a direction in life, and not exactly sure what they want to be. And even if you do, there's a lot of great programs. I had one of my daughter's friends who wanted to go into veterinary science, veterinary medicine, be a vet tech initially. And I'd recommended it. She didn't follow my advice, but I'm like, hey, instead of going to school right away and, collecting a bunch of debt and taking out a bunch of loans, join the Army. Why? The Army has a veterinary service corps. They have veterinarians. They have vet clinics. They handle military working dogs. You can get trained as an enlisted kid right out of high school, no cost to you as a veterinary tech, and work in that industry and gain that experience. And then in 4 years, if that's the direction you want to go, you want to become a veterinarian. Well, now you got your GI Bill. You got the base experience of what you're doing. You want to go into medicine. The Navy's got corpsmen, Army's got medics. I'm sure, I don't know what the equivalent in the Air Force is, but I'm sure they've got an equivalent. Marine Corps uses Navy, so you don't really have that career path in the Marine Corps. All their corpsmen are Navy corpsmen, and it's the equivalent of military medicine is a little different than civilian medicine, where a medic or a corpsman has a lot more authority than like a CNA or an LPN. Think of it as the kind of the equivalent of like an LPN in the civilian world, if you're familiar with civilian medicine. Military medicine is a little different, where the corpsmen and the med techs and the medics are kind of halfway between like an LPN and an RN. We have RNs in the military, and they're officers, and so they do RN stuff, like a civilian RN, but they also have a lot of leadership roles. So it's kind of a little higher up the management chain than a normal RN would be in the civilian world. So it's kind of everything shifts a little bit, but it's a great way. You become a medic or a corpsman, do that for 4 years, and if you want to go to medical school, or if you want to go be a nurse, if you want to go be, a PA, physician's assistant, something like that. Now you've got your patient care hours, you've got a lot of experience, you got money for school, you've got, you're already, terminology, you've got some basic training, and, you're going to be leaps and bounds ahead than people going in straight out of high school. If you want to be a mechanic, same thing. They'll train you in mechanics. They'll train you coming out of high school to be an aircraft engine mechanic. They'll train you in airframes. They'll train you in, if you think about it, there's probably a job for it in the military. Diesel mechanics, whatever. It's all there. So, but do your research. Don't just jump into the first, mall recruiter that you see. Because, they'll have quotas. Yeah. They're not always working in your best interest. So the only person who can take care of you is you. And, the old adage of knowledge is power. Understand it. You don't have to leave for boot camp the day after high school graduation. If you need, if you've kind of got an idea what you want to do and you need a certain ASVAB score to get there, then study for the ASVAB. There's books. You can go to the library. You can do it online. You can whatever. Go to Barnes & Nobles. Pick up an ASVAB study guide. You can take the test a couple of times till you get the scores you want. And then those scores, open up different career fields because it's all based on, aptitude and whatnot as to what you're eligible for. So plan, use it to your advantage. And, I look at it this way is, I didn't have all this information and I was a little scared and I didn't have experience and didn't have anybody in the family at the time that was, military that could kind of guide me. And it, I came out of school with a crap ton of debt. Yeah, I became an officer, was an aviator, but it took me 17 years to pay off my schooling. I don't want that for my children. And if my advice, helps somebody else out to avoid that debt trap, and I was a little immature going into school initially. If I were a couple of years older, starting college, I probably would have, put a whole lot more focus into it. I did well, but, I probably could have gotten a little bit more out of it if I went in a little more mature and a little more driven than I was at, starting school at 18. So it's, there's so much that goes into that decision-making process that, a 20-30 minute video is just not going to cover it all. So, if you got questions, you can ask me. If, this spurs a desire, reach out to somebody else that a friend of the family or whatever that served. Like I said, the lifetime benefits are tremendous, just even from 4 years. One of the greatest benefits that there is, is some of the VA benefits, VA home loan. My first home cost me $100 to buy, and I got that money back at closing. Zero down. At that time, I worked it into my contract that the seller paid my closing costs. I wrote a $100 check as earnest money and bought my first house. And now I've got multiple properties and whatnot. I've been able to build on that to further myself in life and move ahead. But that's a tremendous benefit. How difficult it is to save 20% to avoid PMI. As a down payment for a house for a young person in their 20s, that's a kick in the junk. But if you get the GI Bill or if you got your VA home loan benefit, you're golden. You really are. It's a tremendous benefit that sticks with you for the rest of your life. So, A lot of different things. I mean, topics are endless. So I'll make a couple more videos talking about officers programs, a little more detail on what I did. So if you got more questions about aviation, shoot them out. So hopefully it'll thaw out, and I can start shooting the motorcycle and working on my projects before riding season starts again. So out, peace. Hey, like, subscribe, and that's how we keep this going. Is if you like and subscribe, then YouTube puts it in their algorithm and all that stuff. So give it a whirl. Thanks. Bye.